All right, back on the road again with our 5 News Storm Chaser. Looks like it is still in Springdale, probably going down Sunset right now. It has been cold and rainy all evening long. It is definitely feeling like February again, Scott.
Yeah, no question about it. Good to see the Storm Chaser out there. Right now we're finding wet roads, but we're not finding any actual road conditions at the moment. There are some areas of some freezing rain across the metro northwest Arkansas. Have a live look from our brand new Slim Chickens camera. This guy just came online tonight. Perfect timing for it. I've been looking at that flyway. This is on 71B looking back towards College. I've been wondering how those cars are moving, and there's been no issues out there yet. RDOT not reporting any actual icing on the roadways. All those major interstates or highways, they're shaded in gray, which according to RDOT says they're clear at the moment. Let's watch that closely overnight into tomorrow morning as well. Here's where we're looking at on live radar. North of the tunnel, 49, you get into the higher elevation of the Ozarks. That's of course where we've got that conversion over. Temperatures are just marginally at or very slightly below freezing. And we knew that would be the case going into this evening, that there would be a very, very small margin of error. We'll start in northwest Arkansas. Look at those temperatures. Right on the line, just literally right on the line. Fayetteville's Drake-Field, which has been running a little bit hot, it feels like the last couple of days, says 35. I bet most of Metro Fayetteville is probably a little bit closer to that freezing mark. That seems to be the case across most of northwest Arkansas. Now, the highest ice totals that I've seen thus far, it's been across most of Madison County. Now, there's some ice developing as well in parts of Carroll, even Newton County, but you look at the Buffalo River at Ponca, that temperature, 33 degrees. So I expect that to kind of waffle overnight. 32, 33, down to 31. That's going to continue up and down over the next several hours. In the River Valley, it's a cold, steady rain. Even got some thunderstorms right now in parts of LaFleur County. You see those lightning strikes there. We heard some thunder earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see some reports, we have already, of some sleet mixing in at times across the River Valley, but we're not expecting issues here. Now, of course, you get in higher elevation, northern Franklin, northern Johnson County. Yeah, of course, you're probably going to have a little bit of icing in those treetops, especially. How much? When it's all said and done, we're really still honing in on Carroll and Madison counties up to about 2/10 of an inch. Meanwhile, elsewhere, probably a thin glaze, which in of itself can cause some minor slick spots out there. For the most part, I still think we're solidly in this nuisance category. It's once you get closer to a quarter of an inch, upwards of a half inch, that's when you're talking about widespread power outages. To be clear, I can't rule it out entirely, right? But I'll tell you, for the most part, this is kind of what we're looking at. Light icing on the trees, on some elevated surfaces, on some cars. Just saw a report out of Rogers that cars in a parking lot have a thin layer of ice starting to develop on those surfaces. So that's probably where we end up with this first round. Our weather advisory was expanded. If you missed that at the top of the show, it was expanded into parts of Benton and Washington County, just given how marginal those temperatures are. And with a little bit of icing out there, not a bad idea to take it slow. For any reason, you got to be out there tonight, but certainly going into tomorrow morning as well. Freezing rain, sleet, two very different things. Freezing rain, it falls as rain and it creates this glaze of ice. You can think of it as a glazed donut. But sleet, on the other hand, falls as tiny pebbles of ice. It bounces on the surface. That can cause some road issues, but really it's the freezing rain. It's the glaze. This is the one that causes a lot of trouble. We don't like that. When it's all said and done, I think this is how much rain we pick up. About a half inch to an inch north of I-40, generally speaking south of I-40 between now and Wednesday. Probably about 1 to 2 inches of rain. We'll maintain that weather impact alert for your Tuesday and Wednesday. Could see a few flurries lingering over into Thursday. Notice this, though, by the end of the week, temperatures starting to slowly warm up. Weekend looks decent. In one respect, temperatures will be a little bit warmer Saturday, but there's a chance of rain Saturday, dadgummit, about a 40% chance. Cold air returns on Sunday. It'll be a cold Sunday. Next week looks to be pretty similar. An active weather pattern will bring a brief warm up followed by some showers, and yet again, temperatures starting to cool down. If there's any change in the River Valley, it's this. I think rain's going to continue into tomorrow morning, but it's not going to be an all-day washout tomorrow. In fact, I think aside from a few scattered showers around lunchtime, the second half of the day is probably going to be a bit on the dry side. That second round moves in Wednesday. And a lot like with this first round, temperatures are going to be the name of the game. We'll be watching those thermometers really closely. We're going to be marginally at or slightly above or even slightly below freezing in northwest Arkansas. For the River Valley, I think mostly a cold rain at this point, but we know how close we are on that edge. So check back for updates. There very well could be some between now and then.
Yes, and it could get slippery out there
Yep.
with just a few degrees difference.
For sure.
All right, thank you, Scott.